I'm Lenn Woolston, sci-fi fantasy writer, blogger, and nerd, and today we're going to be talking about something that is near and dear to my heart. I'm actually going to be sharing with you something that is so fun, but it's also something that I have seen done wrong in a lot of movies and a lot of books, and it's about how to write archery. Now, I really believe that in the movies and everything, there is this misconception on how to properly do archery. And I wanted to make this video because I myself have been doing archery for about 7 years now, and I'm by no means an expert, but there are a lot of things that I've seen that I wanted to kind of clear up, especially for my writers who are trying to write archery in a respectful and correct manner. So before we get into that though, I want to just go ahead and give a disclaimer that this is about writing archery, not how to do archery. So with that, I'm just going to throw this up here. Now that we have that out of the way, we're going to be discussing parts of a bow, parts of your arrow, and exactly how to shoot it, and all the different mechanisms in which archery can be practiced so that you can write your characters in the correct way. Now, a lot of this is going to be so that you can write about skilled archers, but this can also be a great way for you to show an inexperienced archer with them doing some of the things that are not going to be a good idea when doing archery. So let's get to it. This is my English style longbow, and I'll be going over its different parts. First, the upper and lower sections of the bow are called the limbs. These extend until meeting the string knock where the bowstring slips on and off. Next is the bowstring, and at its center I have two brass knocking points that are metal guides where the arrow will rest in the middle. The thicker spun part of the arrow string is called the serving. The center part of the bow is your grip that is usually bound with another type of material. Here I have attached a shelf or arrow rest where the arrow will rest when not shooting off your hand. This is my husband's recurve bow. Notice the different shape and the curve. It has all the similar parts to my longbow with some additional features. These fluffy things are used as bowstring silencers, which dampen the sound of the string and are useful when hunting. Now let's move on to the parts of an arrow. First, this is the arrowhead, which is the tip of the arrow. Next is the shaft, which is the body of the arrow. Coming to the top of the arrow, you will see the feathers, which are called the fletching, which has different colors for a purpose, which I'll show you why in a moment. The top of the arrow is the knocking point where the arrow will connect to the bowstring. Here I'm showing how to nock an arrow. Remember that fletching? The yellow feather is a guide to show which way the arrow should be rotated in order to nock it correctly. Traditionally, the off color is always closest to the archer. When shooting, it's important not to say that archers hold their bows with great force. No white-knuckled grips here. Good archers should be able to hold their bow with essentially an open palm. The positioning of your arm is also crucial. I'll show you why in a moment. I've discovered women's build naturally turns their arm in as they shoot, but men need to be just as mindful. There should be a slight bend in the arm because if the arm is straight, the bowstring will snap and it will hurt. Bracers, which are typically leather wrist wraps, are commonly worn by archers. However, my instructor taught me to shoot without them because that awful snap is a reminder that I'm holding my bow incorrectly. Ouch! One of the biggest errors I see in movies is drawing the bowstring back to your face. If the bowstring is resting against your cheek, it will slide right across your nose. Yikes! Having the bowstring away from your face up to about your chin or a little past it will ensure you won't get snapped. Also, I was taught to follow through with every shot, which looks like I'm wiping something sticky off my cheek. Before we continue on, here's a quick word from our sponsors. now getting back to it seriously. There are just a few more other things that I wanted to note. The first thing is I have seen in a lot of movies and actually have read in books about archers who hold their shot for quite some time. This is usually in a scene where they're actually hunting something, so they're trying to like stay focused and have that shot ready, which is possible, but I will caution you that holding your shot for that long period of time is going to cause fatigue. Like your muscles are all tensed and everything, and so holding that shot actually makes it so that your aim is going to be slightly off because your muscles are getting tired and you're not being able to hold it correctly. So keep that in mind for all of your scenes, and you can use that if you have a character who is trying to do some type of hunting and that's going to cause them to miss their shot because they're holding that shot for too long. Now let's talk about a term that's called dry firing. This is where you will pull back on the bowstring and you don't have an arrow. You're just pulling it back maybe to test it and it flexes and everything. This is a big no-no in the archery world. The reason why is it causes a lot of stress on the actual bow because nothing is being propelled, and so it's really stressful to the bow and can cause a lot of damage. But you can use that for showing how maybe you have a character who is new to archery and they're just doing that reflexively because maybe they think that's going to make them a better archer or get acquainted with the bow. But it can be a way that you can have this character that's new and they're doing this, and then you have the experienced character that's like, no, don't do that. And so that's a way of showing that they are inexperienced with archery. Another big conception that I see with people relating to archery and with shooting in general is to hold your breath while you shoot. And I believe that the intent behind this is to kind of just slow your thinking and everything and to just be in the moment until you're able to try to focus. But doing this repeatedly will make you lightheaded. And that's really hard to shoot a bow when you are feeling lightheaded. Not only will your aim be off, you could actually faint from being all dysregulated with all your breathing. And so my instructor taught me to just breathe naturally. He said that it will cause me to be able to not be so lightheaded and unfocused, and rather that I can focus and just kind of breathing naturally, I'll find that there's a natural rhythm to shooting and it will make my accuracy even better. So I definitely recommend for you to not say that a character holds their breath as they're doing their shot, because you get all tensed up and everything and it's not as natural as with your natural breathing pattern. The best advice I can give for writers who are wanting to write archery is for you to go try it yourself. And I will definitely link down below to some sites that can help you find where you have an archery range and where you can find people who are pros at it that can help guide you, and maybe you could take a lesson. But it is something that is, you think it's one way and then you experience it for yourself and see that it is completely different. And so I definitely recommend checking it out and just trying it at least once. I can say that archery is a lot of fun and it's a great sport. I am no expert by any means, but it's something that I love to do. I hope that you found this helpful and inspiring to aid you in writing archery for your story. So happy writing, friends, and until next video, bye!